Do you hear me on that, Michael? Directed the budget for 4 years. I can remember one year things were just going so smooth. And back then, Mr. Rue, you one of the youngest members. So this is back in the olden days where we had a big board. Remember, Don, where they would write?
Right.
So if you were taking 5 million away, they would literally subtract it from this board. So Don and I had figured out, I mean, it's like a chalkboard. And you'd have one of the staff from, I guess, the CAO's office, and they would just...
Yeah, that was back in 1882.
Yeah, it was back in 1882, like Mr. Buscaino referenced earlier. So we're going through it, and all of a sudden, the math doesn't add up. Supervisor Gloria Molina goes crazy, right? What are you guys doing, you etc.? Anyway, and I remember looking at Don, and he looked at me and kind of nodded, and I said to her, I said, it's human error. We did, trust me. So she goes all crazy, and I tell the supervisor, just tell them to relax, and they relaxed, they redid it. Don and I were right, and the budget happened exactly the way that we said that it was going to happen, and that happened year after year after year. But I wouldn't have been prepared when I got to the legislature if it wasn't for the lessons that I learned from Don Knabe. And the one thing that Don didn't know, once he did get elected and he was the supervisor, my office alone controlled the budget because your chief of staff was new. So thank you for thank you for teaching me. We had a saying, we are not elected, we are selected. And when you are selected, it's a big difference than when the people elect you. And I'll never forget when he was elected, I sat on that floor, the Board of Supervisors, with such pride to see my very best friend in government become the supervisor of that district, a job that I think he was born to do. And he's been my friend ever since. He's the type of person that he has yet to meet a problem that he didn't try to fix. He doesn't run away from difficult issues. He doesn't run away from challenging issues. In all of the years that we've worked together, you never heard us say Democrat or Republican. We always focused on the problem and the bet, what could we do with this problem to try to solve it so that it could take care of the constituents that he and I both love. Again, when I went to the legislature, I was prepared to do the budget. I was prepared to go into leadership. So when other freshman members were running around the Capitol trying to figure out, you know, what staff to hire and do this, I was in the middle with the speaker engaged in the budget because of the lessons that I got from Supervisor Don Knabe. He also taught me how important it is, and I will give this quickly lesson to each and every one of you. You have to have balance in this political life. You cannot just work. You have to have time that you spend with your family and time that you spend with yourself. And I learned that from Don. We would go on trips to Washington, D.C., where we would have meetings like every half hour on the hour. But when the sun set around 8 o'clock, he and I would slip off in a cab, go to Georgetown to a place called Blues Alley, where we'd have a phenomenal dinner, and the best time he and I ever had, we sat up for an hour and a half listening to Nancy Wilson just sing, eating steak and lobster and having the time of our lives. And so I want to thank Don for teaching me balance. It is a great place. And Don afforded me the greatest honor that I think a friend could afford another friend. I mean, he's been in this business for a long time. He's highly respected from Washington to California. He had a huge party celebrating his time as supervisor, and he asked me, out of all of the people that he knows, he asked me to be the MC of that event. And it was my honor and my pleasure to do that for my dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, an individual that is a true public servant, an individual that we will miss in this business, an individual that if we had more people like Don, then this country would not be as divided as it appears to be now. It would be more united, because Don would put the focus on settling or fixing the problem, not on BS and theatrics or what have you, because that is not Don Knabe. So it is my honor to stand with Mr. Buscaino and Mr. Bonin and talk to you about one of the biggest influences in my political life,